Welcome back to Premium Car Reviews. Today, we're looking at a vehicle that represents a major turning point for a brand that's always done things its own way. This is the all-new 2026 Subaru Uncharted, and it's not just another electric SUV added to the market. This is Subaru stepping into unfamiliar territory and finally making a serious statement in the EV space. For decades, Subaru has built its reputation on all-wheel drive confidence, boxer engines, safety-first engineering, and a loyal following that values function over flash. Subaru owners don't usually chase trends. They stick with what works. But the auto industry doesn't wait for anyone, and the shift toward electrification has forced every legacy brand to make a choice: evolve with intention or get left behind. The Uncharted is Subaru's answer to that moment. It's a vehicle designed to feel familiar enough for longtime Subaru fans, while still being modern enough to attract a new generation of EV buyers who want practicality without giving up character. Over the course of this full review, we're going to break down every aspect of this car in detail, but in this first part, we're laying the foundation. We're talking about why this vehicle exists, what it says about Subaru's future, and how its exterior design reflects that shift. For a long time, Subaru played the waiting game when it came to electric vehicles. While companies like Tesla, Hyundai, and even Ford pushed aggressively into the EV world, Subaru took a much slower, more cautious approach. Their first real step into electrification came with the Solterra, and while that vehicle proved Subaru could build an EV, it didn't exactly light the segment on fire. It felt more like a test run than a bold commitment. Subaru knew that, and so did buyers. The Uncharted is different. This isn't Subaru experimenting anymore. This is Subaru committing. The company recognized that EV buyers, especially in the United States, don't all want the same thing. Not everyone is looking for maximum horsepower or a minimalist interior with no buttons. Subaru's core audience cares about real-world usability, confidence in bad weather, long-term reliability, and a vehicle that fits into daily life without drama. That philosophy drives everything about the Uncharted. Instead of chasing headline-grabbing specs, Subaru focused on balance. Competitive range without excessive battery weight. Quick acceleration without sacrificing efficiency. Charging capability that fits American road trips, not just urban commuting. And most importantly, available all-wheel drive that actually works the way Subaru drivers expect it to. The Uncharted isn't trying to reinvent the wheel. It's trying to make the transition to electric feel natural. The name Uncharted says a lot about Subaru's mindset right now. It acknowledges that this is new territory, both for the brand and for many of its loyal customers. But it also leans into Subaru's long-standing association with adventure and exploration. This isn't an EV designed just to sit in a garage or bounce between charging stations in the city. It's designed to go places. Subaru wants this to be the electric SUV you trust when the weather turns ugly, when the road gets rough, or when you decide to take a last-minute weekend trip without overthinking it. That mindset carries straight into the exterior design. The Uncharted doesn't scream for attention, but it doesn't disappear either. It strikes a balance between modern EV styling and the rugged, confident stance Subaru is known for. At first glance, the Uncharted looks clean and purposeful. The proportions immediately tell you this vehicle was designed as an EV from the ground up. The short front and rear overhangs, combined with a longer wheelbase, give it a planted, stable look. The body sits low enough to feel aerodynamic, but high enough to maintain that SUV presence. Subaru didn't go full sci-fi with the design, and that's intentional. Instead of sharp angles and exaggerated lighting signatures, the Uncharted uses smooth surfaces and subtle sculpting. The front end is where this approach is most obvious. There's no traditional grille, but Subaru didn't just slap on a blank panel either. The closed-off front fascia is shaped to guide airflow efficiently, with soft contours that reduce drag while still giving the nose some personality. The headlights are slim and horizontal, giving the vehicle a wider visual stance. They're modern without being overstyled, and they blend seamlessly into the front fascia rather than standing out as separate elements. Moving down the front bumper, you'll notice functional air inlets positioned low, helping with cooling and aerodynamics. Subaru clearly prioritized efficiency here, but they didn't sacrifice toughness. The lower cladding and subtle skid plate style elements hint at light off-road capability, even if most Uncharted owners will spend their time on pavement. From the side, the design stays restrained but confident. The character lines are minimal, running cleanly from front to rear without unnecessary creases. This keeps the body looking timeless rather than trendy. The roofline slopes gently toward the back, striking a balance between sporty and practical. It doesn't have the aggressive coupe SUV drop that kills rear headroom, and that's a smart move for a vehicle meant to be used every day. The wheel arches are slightly flared, a classic Subaru design cue, and they give the Uncharted a planted, athletic stance. Depending on the trim, you'll get different wheel designs, but even the larger options don't feel oversized or flashy. Subaru kept the wheels functional, not decorative, which fits the brand's identity perfectly. The side profile also benefits from a relatively high beltline, giving the cabin a secure, cocooned feel without making the windows feel too small. Around the back, the Uncharted keeps things simple. The taillights stretch horizontally across the tailgate, emphasizing width and stability. They're clean, modern, and instantly recognizable at night without being overdone. The rear bumper continues the theme of subtle ruggedness, with protective cladding and a design that suggests durability rather than fragility. Overall, the exterior design of the 2026 Subaru Uncharted feels honest. It doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It's not chasing luxury brands, and it's not trying to out-futurize Tesla. Instead, it looks like a Subaru that just happens to be electric. And honestly, that's exactly what many buyers want. The design communicates confidence, usability, and approachability, which sets the tone for everything else this vehicle offers. Subaru didn't overcook it, and that restraint might be one of the Uncharted's biggest strengths. That wraps up the foundation for the Uncharted. We've talked about why Subaru built this vehicle, what it represents for the brand's future, and how its exterior design reflects a careful but confident move into the EV world. In the next part, we'll step inside and break down the interior, technology, infotainment, and overall cabin experience, where Subaru really starts blending tradition with the future. Stepping inside the 2026 Subaru Uncharted, the first thing you notice is that Subaru didn't try to reinvent the cabin just for the sake of being electric. Instead, they focused on making the interior feel familiar, comfortable, and easy to live with, while still clearly modern. This isn't one of those EV interiors that feels like a minimalist tech demo where everything is hidden behind a touchscreen. Subaru understands that a lot of its buyers actually like physical controls, clear layouts, and a cabin that feels intuitive from the moment you sit down. The Uncharted strikes that balance right away. The dashboard layout is clean and horizontal, which helps make the cabin feel wider and more open. Materials feel solid and well assembled, especially in the areas you touch the most. Subaru may not be known as a luxury brand, but the Uncharted definitely feels like a step up from older Subaru interiors, especially compared to vehicles from just a few years ago. The seating position is classic Subaru. You sit slightly upright with good visibility in all directions, which makes the Uncharted feel easy to place on the road. The windshield is fairly upright for an EV, and the A-pillars are shaped to minimize blind spots. This gives the cabin an airy feel and reinforces that sense of confidence Subaru drivers are used to. The front seats are well cushioned and designed for long drives rather than aggressive bolstering. They're supportive without being stiff, which makes sense for a vehicle aimed at daily use and road trips. On higher trims, you get upgraded upholstery that feels durable but comfortable, and Subaru clearly chose materials that can handle wear and tear instead of just looking good on day one. This is an interior built to be used, not babied. At the center of the dashboard sits a large touchscreen that handles most of the vehicle's infotainment and vehicle settings. Subaru didn't go completely button-free, which is a win. Climate controls are easy to access, and there are still physical buttons and knobs for key functions, so you're not digging through menus just to adjust the temperature or fan speed. The infotainment system itself is responsive and easy to navigate, with clear graphics and logical menus. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard, which means most drivers will just plug in their phone and feel right at home. The system boots up quickly, and there's no noticeable lag when switching between screens, which is something Subaru has clearly improved compared to older systems. One of the standout features inside the Uncharted is the way technology is integrated without feeling overwhelming. The digital instrument cluster behind the steering wheel provides all the essential information you need, including speed, range, battery status, and driver assistance indicators. It's customizable enough to show different layouts, but it doesn't bombard you with unnecessary animations or distractions. Subaru kept the fonts clean and readable, which is especially important when driving at night or in bad weather. The steering wheel itself feels familiar, with clearly labeled buttons that control audio, cruise control, and driver assistance features. Again, nothing feels overcomplicated here. Everything is where you expect it to be. Storage and practicality are where the Uncharted really starts to feel like a Subaru. The center console is deep and useful, with space for everyday items like sunglasses, wallets, and charging cables. There are multiple USB-C ports throughout the cabin, making it easy for everyone to keep their devices charged. Cup holders are well-sized and placed where they won't interfere with shifting or driving, which sounds basic but isn't always done right. The door pockets are large enough to hold water bottles and other essentials, reinforcing the idea that this car was designed for real life. Subaru clearly thought about how people actually use their vehicles day to day. Moving to the second row, the Uncharted offers a surprising amount of space for a compact SUV. Thanks to the flat EV floor, there's plenty of legroom, and the absence of a traditional transmission tunnel makes the center seat more usable than in many gas-powered competitors. Headroom is solid, even for taller passengers, and the large windows help keep the back seat from feeling cramped. The rear seats are comfortable enough for long trips, with supportive cushions and a seat-back angle that doesn't feel too upright. Rear passengers also get their own air vents and charging ports, which is becoming more common but still worth appreciating in this segment. The overall cabin atmosphere is calm and refined. Subaru didn't go for flashy ambient lighting or aggressive design elements. Instead, the interior feels grounded and relaxing, which fits the brand's personality perfectly. Road noise is well controlled, and the absence of an internal combustion engine makes the Uncharted especially quiet at city speeds. At highway speeds, there's some wind noise, but it's not intrusive, and it feels well within expectations for a compact SUV. Subaru clearly invested in sound insulation, which helps make the Uncharted feel more premium than you might expect at this price point. Comfort features play a big role in the Uncharted's appeal. Depending on the trim, you get heated seats, a heated steering wheel, and dual-zone climate control, all of which make a noticeable difference in colder climates. Subaru's long-standing reputation for cold weather capability carries over here, and it's clear the Uncharted was designed with northern states in mind. The climate system works efficiently, and the EV heat management doesn't feel like an afterthought. Cabin temperature remains consistent, even during longer drives, which is something early EVs sometimes struggled with. Cargo space is another area where the Uncharted delivers. The rear hatch opens wide, making it easy to load bulky items, and the cargo floor is flat and usable. With the rear seats up, there's plenty of room for groceries, luggage, or outdoor gear. Fold the seats down, and the Uncharted becomes surprisingly capable for hauling larger loads. Subaru didn't sacrifice practicality for style, and that's a huge plus. There's also additional underfloor storage in the cargo area, perfect for storing charging cables or smaller items you want to keep out of sight. Overall, the interior of the 2026 Subaru Uncharted feels like a thoughtful evolution rather than a radical departure. It blends modern EV technology with Subaru's traditional focus on comfort, usability, and safety. Nothing feels gimmicky, and nothing feels unfinished. This is a cabin designed for people who actually drive their cars every day, not just for showroom appeal. In the next part, we're going to talk about how the Uncharted drives, including performance, acceleration, handling, and what it's like on real roads. That's where this electric Subaru really starts to show its personality. When you finally get the 2026 Subaru Uncharted out on the road, it becomes clear pretty quickly that Subaru wasn't trying to build a headline-grabbing performance EV. Instead, they focused on making something that feels natural, confident, and easy to drive in just about any situation. This is an electric SUV designed to feel approachable, not intimidating, and that philosophy shows up the moment you press the accelerator. Power delivery is smooth and immediate, as you'd expect from an EV, but it's not overly aggressive. Subaru tuned the throttle response to be predictable rather than jumpy, which makes the Uncharted feel calm in city traffic and easy to modulate in stop-and-go driving. There's no learning curve here. Anyone stepping out of a gas-powered Subaru will feel comfortable almost instantly. Depending on the trim, the Uncharted is offered with either a single-motor front-wheel drive setup or a dual-motor all-wheel drive configuration. The front-wheel drive version is clearly aimed at efficiency and range, and it feels well-suited for daily commuting. Acceleration is brisk enough to keep up with traffic and make confident passes, but it never feels frantic. The dual-motor all-wheel drive version is where the Uncharted really starts to feel like a proper Subaru. With power going to all four wheels, acceleration is noticeably stronger, especially off the line. The instant torque gives it that EV punch, and the Uncharted pulls away from a stop with authority. It's quick enough to surprise people who don't expect an electric Subaru to move like that, but it still feels controlled and composed. What stands out most is how the all-wheel drive system is tuned. This isn't just a basic dual-motor setup that sends power wherever it can. Subaru clearly put time into calibrating the system to behave the way their customers expect. Traction is excellent, even on slick or uneven surfaces, and power delivery remains smooth when conditions change. Whether you're accelerating out of a wet intersection or climbing a steep on-ramp, the Uncharted feels planted and secure. Subaru's experience with all-wheel drive systems carries over nicely into the electric world, and it gives the Uncharted a sense of confidence that many competitors struggle to match. Handling is another area where Subaru took a balanced approach. The Uncharted isn't trying to be a sporty crossover, but it doesn't feel dull either. The low-mounted battery pack helps keep the center of gravity down, which reduces body roll and improves stability through corners. Steering is light but precise, making the vehicle easy to maneuver in tight spaces and parking lots. At higher speeds, the steering firms up just enough to feel stable without becoming heavy. This makes the Uncharted comfortable on long highway drives, where you want a relaxed, predictable feel rather than sharp, twitchy responses. Ride quality is exactly what you'd expect from a Subaru built for real-world roads. The suspension is tuned to absorb bumps and imperfections without feeling floaty. Potholes, expansion joints, and rough pavement are handled with confidence, and the cabin remains composed even when the road surface isn't great. Subaru didn't overstiffen the suspension in an attempt to make the Uncharted feel sporty, and that's a good thing. The result is a ride that feels comfortable and controlled, whether you're cruising through the city or spending hours on the highway. This is the kind of tuning that makes you want to take the long way home rather than rushing to your destination. One of the most interesting aspects of driving the Uncharted is how quiet and refined it feels. Without an engine up front, road and wind noise become much more noticeable, and Subaru clearly worked to keep both in check. At low speeds, the cabin is almost silent, with only a faint hum from the electric motors. At highway speeds, wind noise is present but well managed, and it never becomes distracting. This calm driving environment makes the Uncharted feel more premium than you might expect from a compact SUV, especially on longer trips. Braking performance is solid and predictable, which is especially important in an EV. The regenerative braking system is tuned to feel natural rather than intrusive. When you lift off the accelerator, the Uncharted slows down smoothly, and you can adjust how strong the regenerative braking feels through different driving modes. Subaru didn't go all in on one-pedal driving, which some drivers love and others hate. Instead, they offered a setup that feels familiar and easy to adapt to. This makes the transition to electric driving smoother for people who are new to EVs, while still offering efficiency benefits for those who want to maximize range. Driving modes allow you to tailor the Uncharted's behavior to different situations. In normal mode, everything feels balanced and relaxed, perfect for everyday driving. Switching to a sportier mode sharpens throttle response and gives the vehicle a bit more urgency without turning it into something it's not. For drivers who frequently deal with poor weather or light off-road conditions, the all-wheel drive models offer additional traction-focused settings. These modes adjust power delivery and stability control to maintain grip on snow, mud, or loose surfaces. While the Uncharted isn't a hardcore off-roader, it feels more capable than many electric SUVs in its class when conditions get less than ideal. On the highway, the Uncharted really shines as a daily driver. It tracks straight and stable, even at higher speeds, and the adaptive cruise control works smoothly to maintain distance and lane position. Subaru's driver assistance systems feel well integrated and supportive rather than intrusive. Lane centering is gentle and consistent, and the system doesn't fight you if you want to make small adjustments. This makes long highway drives less tiring and reinforces the Uncharted's role as a comfortable, confidence-inspiring vehicle. In urban environments, the Uncharted's compact size and good visibility make it easy to live with. Tight streets, crowded parking garages, and narrow driveways aren't a problem. The instant torque helps you dart into gaps in traffic, while the smooth throttle response keeps things predictable. The turning radius is reasonable for the class, and the light steering makes low-speed maneuvers effortless. This is an EV that feels just as at home in the city as it does on the open road. Overall, the driving experience of the 2026 Subaru Uncharted feels thoughtfully engineered. It's not trying to be the fastest or the flashiest EV on the market. Instead, it delivers a balanced, confident, and comfortable drive that aligns perfectly with Subaru's brand values. It feels like a natural evolution rather than a radical departure, which is exactly what many Subaru buyers are looking for. In the next part, we're going to dig into battery technology, charging, real-world range, and what it's actually like to live with the Uncharted as an electric vehicle. That's where things get especially interesting. Living with the 2026 Subaru Uncharted as an electric vehicle is where Subaru's cautious, deliberate approach really starts to pay off. Instead of chasing extreme numbers or experimental tech, Subaru focused on building an EV that fits naturally into everyday American driving habits. At the heart of the Uncharted is a battery pack sized to strike a balance between usable range, charging speed, and overall vehicle weight. Subaru understood that bigger isn't always better when it comes to batteries, and that mindset shapes the entire ownership experience. The Uncharted's battery capacity is designed to deliver competitive real-world range without making the vehicle feel heavy or inefficient, and that decision shows up the moment you start planning daily drives or longer trips. Range is one of the biggest questions people ask when considering an EV, and Subaru approached it with realism rather than hype. The front-wheel drive version of the Uncharted is optimized for efficiency, making it the best choice for drivers who prioritize maximum range. In normal conditions, this version delivers enough miles on a full charge to comfortably handle daily commuting, errands, and even longer highway trips without constant charging anxiety. The all-wheel drive versions sacrifice a bit of range in exchange for added traction and performance, but the difference isn't dramatic. Subaru made sure that even the AWD models remain practical for road trips and extended use, which is crucial for buyers in regions with changing weather or rougher roads. What really matters, though, is how that range holds up in the real world. Subaru paid close attention to consistency, meaning the Uncharted doesn't see wild swings in range just because you turned on the heat or drove at highway speeds. Cold weather performance, in particular, is an area where Subaru has historically focused a lot of attention, and that carries over into the Uncharted. The battery management system is tuned to handle lower temperatures more efficiently than many early EVs, helping to reduce range loss during winter driving. This makes the Uncharted especially appealing to buyers in northern states, where EV performance can vary dramatically depending on conditions. Charging is another area where Subaru clearly listened to customer feedback. The Uncharted supports fast charging at public DC stations, allowing you to add a significant amount of range in a relatively short amount of time. On a fast charger, the battery can be brought from a low state of charge to a more usable level in about the time it takes to grab a coffee and stretch your legs. Subaru didn't overpromise here. Charging speeds are competitive for the segment, and more importantly, they're consistent. The charging curve is designed to stay stable rather than dropping off aggressively, which makes road trips more predictable and less frustrating. At home, the Uncharted is easy to live with. Plugging in overnight using a level 2 charger gives you a full or near full battery by morning, which fits seamlessly into most people's routines. Subaru also made sure the charging port is easy to access and well positioned, reducing the hassle of plugging in whether you're in a garage or using a public charger. The vehicle's software provides clear charging information, including estimated completion times and current charge status, so you're never guessing about how long you'll need to wait. One of the most important developments with the Uncharted is its compatibility with the North American charging standard. This opens the door to a much larger charging network, including access to widely available fast chargers across the country. For many potential EV buyers, charging infrastructure is a major deciding factor, and Subaru's decision here significantly improves the Uncharted's long-term usability. Being able to rely on a broad, reliable charging network takes a lot of stress out of EV ownership and makes spontaneous trips far more realistic. Efficiency plays a big role in how far your battery actually takes you, and the Uncharted performs well in this area. The vehicle's aerodynamic design, combined with efficient motor tuning, helps maximize every kilowatt-hour. Regenerative braking also contributes to overall efficiency, especially in city driving. By recapturing energy during deceleration, the Uncharted extends its range without requiring any extra effort from the driver. This makes stop-and-go traffic less of a drain on the battery and reinforces the idea that EVs can actually be more efficient in urban environments than on the highway. Subaru also paid attention to how energy is used inside the cabin. Climate control systems are optimized to reduce unnecessary battery drain, and features like heated seats and steering will help maintain comfort without relying solely on cabin heating. This approach is particularly effective in colder climates, where traditional cabin heating can significantly impact range. By offering targeted comfort features, Subaru helps drivers stay warm while preserving battery life. Ownership experience goes beyond numbers, and this is where the Uncharted really feels like a Subaru. Maintenance requirements are minimal compared to gas-powered vehicles, with fewer moving parts and no oil changes to worry about. Subaru designed the Uncharted to be straightforward and reliable, avoiding overly complex systems that could lead to headaches down the road. Software updates help keep the vehicle current, improving efficiency and features over time without requiring frequent dealership visits. Day-to-day EV ownership with the Uncharted feels stress-free. You're not constantly thinking about charging or range because the vehicle fits naturally into your routine. Plug in at night, drive during the day, and repeat. For road trips, planning is simple thanks to integrated navigation features that account for charging stops and battery usage. Subaru's approach doesn't overwhelm you with data or options. It gives you the information you need, when you need it, in a clear and straightforward way. Overall, the battery, charging, and ownership experience of the 2026 Subaru Uncharted feel thoughtfully designed for real people. Subaru didn't try to overcomplicate things or chase trends. Instead, they focused on making electric driving feel normal, reliable, and accessible. That philosophy makes the Uncharted a strong option for buyers who are curious about EVs but hesitant to make the switch. In the final part, we're going to bring everything together. We'll talk about pricing, trim levels, competitors, who this vehicle is really for, and whether the Uncharted makes sense in the bigger picture of the EV market. When it comes time to actually buying the 2026 Subaru Uncharted, pricing and trim strategy play a huge role in how competitive this vehicle really is. Subaru positioned the Uncharted right in the middle of the compact electric SUV market, avoiding both bargain basement pricing and luxury-level premiums. The base front-wheel drive version is aimed squarely at buyers who want to get into an EV without stretching their budget too far, while still enjoying modern tech, solid range, and Subaru's safety systems. Move up through the trims, and you'll find more comfort features, better materials, and the option for Subaru's signature all-wheel drive. This tiered approach makes the Uncharted accessible to a wide range of buyers, whether you're stepping into your first EV or upgrading from an older gas-powered crossover. The trim lineup is simple enough to understand without feeling stripped down. Subaru avoided overwhelming buyers with dozens of configurations, which makes the buying process less stressful. Each trim level builds logically on the one below it, adding meaningful features rather than cosmetic fluff. The higher trims focus on comfort, convenience, and all-weather capability rather than trying to turn the Uncharted into something it's not. This strategy aligns perfectly with Subaru's brand identity and helps the Uncharted stand out in a segment where some competitors feel overcomplicated or overpriced. When you compare the Uncharted to its main competitors, its strengths become pretty clear. Vehicles like the Hyundai Kona EV, Kia Niro EV, and Chevrolet Equinox EV all bring strong value to the table, but Subaru differentiates itself through all-wheel drive availability, cold weather tuning, and a more grounded driving experience. While some competitors prioritize aggressive styling or futuristic interiors, the Uncharted focuses on usability and long-term comfort. It may not have the flashiest design or the longest range on paper, but it delivers a balanced package that works well in real-world conditions. Another key factor is trust. Subaru has built a reputation for reliability, safety, and customer loyalty over decades. For buyers who are hesitant about switching to an electric vehicle, that reputation carries a lot of weight. The Uncharted feels like a safe step into electrification rather than a risky leap. Subaru's dealer network and customer support infrastructure also make ownership less intimidating, especially for people who are new to EVs and want guidance along the way. The Uncharted makes the most sense for drivers who value confidence and consistency over cutting-edge gimmicks. It's ideal for people who live in regions with changing weather, who take road trips, and who want a vehicle that can handle daily life without constant attention. This is an EV for commuters, families, outdoor enthusiasts, and longtime Subaru fans who want to go electric without abandoning what they like about the brand. It's not trying to be a performance monster or a tech showcase. It's trying to be dependable, comfortable, and easy to own. Looking at the bigger picture, the 2026 Subaru Uncharted represents a turning point for Subaru. It shows that the company is ready to commit to electric vehicles in a way that feels authentic rather than forced. Subaru didn't rush this car to market, and that patience shows in the way everything comes together. The Uncharted feels cohesive, well thought out, and aligned with what Subaru customers actually want. It doesn't feel like a first attempt. It feels like a foundation. As an electric SUV, the Uncharted doesn't try to dominate any single category. Instead, it performs well across the board, which may ultimately be its greatest strength. It offers competitive range, solid charging capability, comfortable driving dynamics, and a practical interior, all wrapped in a design that feels modern without being trendy. That balance makes it easy to recommend, especially to buyers who prioritize peace of mind over bragging rights. So does the 2026 Subaru Uncharted make sense? For a lot of people, the answer is yes. If you're looking for an electric SUV that fits naturally into your life, that doesn't demand constant attention, and that carries the DNA of a brand known for reliability and safety, the Uncharted deserves serious consideration. It's not trying to change the world overnight, but it doesn't need to. It's doing something arguably more important, making the transition to electric feel normal. And that's what makes the Uncharted such an important vehicle for Subaru. It's not just a new model. It's a statement about where the brand is headed and how it plans to get there. For premium car reviews, this is exactly the kind of vehicle worth exploring in depth, because sometimes the most impactful cars aren't the loudest ones. They're the ones that quietly get everything right. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you want more long-form, no BS car reviews, make sure you're subscribed to Premium Car Reviews. We'll see you in the next one. Before we fully wrap things up, it's worth taking one last look at the 2026 Subaru Uncharted from a step back, because this is one of those vehicles that makes the most sense when you stop focusing on individual specs and start looking at the bigger picture. The Uncharted isn't trying to shock you, and it's not chasing viral headlines or extreme numbers. Instead, it's quietly doing something more difficult, delivering a well-rounded electric SUV that fits naturally into everyday life. And in today's EV market, that's actually a pretty bold move. What makes the Uncharted interesting isn't just that it's electric, but that it still feels unmistakably like a Subaru. From the confident driving dynamics to the practical interior and the focus on all-weather usability, this vehicle stays true to the brand's identity while still embracing the future. Subaru didn't abandon what made them successful in the first place. They translated it. And that's a big deal for longtime fans who might be skeptical about going electric. This is also a reminder that not every EV needs to be revolutionary to be relevant. Some people don't want a rolling tech experiment. They want something that works, something they can trust, and something that doesn't feel complicated or fragile. The Uncharted checks those boxes. It's the kind of EV you could hand to someone who's never owned an electric vehicle before and know they'd figure it out in a day. No stress, no drama, just drive and plug in when you get home. Looking ahead, the Uncharted feels like a foundation rather than a finale. It sets the tone for where Subaru is headed with electrification, and it shows that the company is thinking long-term instead of rushing to market. If this is the baseline, there's a lot of potential for what comes next. More models, more refinement, and maybe even more performance down the road. But even on its own, the Uncharted stands strong as a complete package. At the end of the day, the 2026 Subaru Uncharted isn't about proving anything. It's about confidence. Confidence in design, confidence in engineering, and confidence in knowing exactly who this vehicle is for. And for drivers who value practicality, reliability, and peace of mind, this electric Subaru makes a lot of sense. It doesn't need to scream. It just needs to show up and do the job. If you made it all the way to the end of this deep dive, I appreciate you. Long-form reviews like this are about slowing down and actually understanding the car, not just reacting to it. If you want more in-depth, real-world car content like this, make sure you're subscribed to Premium Car Reviews, drop a like if this helped you out, and let us know in the comments what car you want to see next. Until then, thanks for watching, drive safe, and we'll catch you in the next one.